Luke here, just giving another video review for the Inspirational Nomad. Inspirational Nomad, inspiring people young and old, life-changing differences. So check his account out, maybe you can learn a thing or two. So what I do love about your channel is that we do talk about great, deep things, such as religion, politics, and all of these shenanigans. But what I also do love is we do talk about techniques, advice, how to do things in a better, simpler way, how to downsize. I think this is very important also because diversity is a very good thing in a YouTube channel, and I think talking about one thing, sometimes will get a bit boring, so it's good that we have that diversity in the channel. We also do talk about women in the yoga pants, especially when you're in Miami, your man whore, we shouldn't talk about that, but sometimes you just have to bring up the topic and let everyone know about it. Regarding the frog crossing the road, I'm not too quite sure why he crossed the road, but I do know what cars frogs drive. I think they drive Volkswagen Beetles, because they love them Beetles, don't they? Now today's topic was about half and half, basically people telling you half of the story. And I think this is a very important lesson because, in politics, in newspapers, in gossip magazines, in interviews, or even your friends, the majority of the time they only tell you half of the story, the half that they want to say, the half that they prefer is going to benefit them. And I think this is very dangerous, especially in politics, because, for example, the Brexit, a lot of politicians were against Brexit. Also, a lot of politicians were against Europe, but for some reason the BBC News was very pro-Brexit. So the articles that they give, the interviews that they gave, were very one-sided, and unfortunately that's what I think paid a lot of contribution to the leaving vote. I too have seen people complain and heard people complain about other people, and then when I see how those people act, I'm a bit confused, because how they describe themselves was a completely different way, and I think it's very dangerous. You're completely right, Sam. It's a very dangerous thing because people believe it. People don't bother to investigate. People don't bother to ask questions. Someone comes to them with a sob story and they automatically believe it's the truth. I believe that you should believe 10% of what you hear on the radio, maybe 20% of what you hear on the news, and maybe at best 30% of what people say to you. I think you have to see it to believe it, but also you should investigate it yourself from a few sources to get the truth. Helping people is an important thing. A lot of people need help, and a lot of people need to give help. That's what they live for. I think in the case of domestic disputes, it's very dangerous to help someone. I never get involved in a domestic dispute. There's a lot of examples of why not, but a very famous case here in Spain is that a couple were arguing on the street. One man was getting very physically or verbally aggressive, I'm not quite sure, but anyway, another man stepped in to help. In the end, this other man punched this guy. He fell on the floor, hit his head on the concrete side, and had a concussion, had brain injuries. It was a life-changing injury. So when it went to court, the girlfriend said that the other man that came to help actually started the aggressive action, that the man had punched her boyfriend first, which was a complete lie. And in the end, the court got dismissed. He was not brain dead, but had a brain injury, and it was a life-changing thing. He didn't get any reward for it, no thanks. All he got was, a big pain in the head. Now, you did say that most conflicts happen because the one person or the two people do not want to walk away from it, and I think that's very true. Thinking about my past experiences and the experiences of other people, and even the past experiences of the history, and I think you're 100% correct. If someone would just walk away from a conflict or from a problem, then that problem 9 times out of 10 would disappear. it would just go away, because you know it wouldn't be made into a big drama. I think people are too proud. I think people don't want to walk away because they don't want to be seen as, you know, weak. But I think this is a completely wrong approach, because you know the consequences can last weeks, months, years for your actions. But if you would have just walked away, then there would be zero consequences, because you wouldn't have done anything, you know, nothing would have happened. So to conclude the video review, you know, I think it's really good what you do. You give us advice, we talk about tips on how to do things, techniques. We always talk about positive things, but I think also it's good to talk about negative things, and not only to talk about them, but how to avoid them. We learn how to avoid these negative situations, because life's not perfect. And if you go around thinking that if you're positive, everyone around you will be positive, you know, you are mistaken. You can be positive, but there are always negative people out there. So if you can learn to avoid them negative people, I think it's half the battle won. Thank you.